Looking over the notes, we had kind of set a shot back and forth, and I like this analogy that you talked about, the difference between a window and a mirror. Elaborate on that.
Well, sadly, I was with a leader, for a partner for a long time, and he had a lot of mirrors in his room. I never really thought about it very much then. I'm like, okay, so he's, checking to see if he's got broccoli in his teeth or what is he doing, But he had a big mirror, like on the back of the door. He had a mirror when he was talking on the phone, and I'm like, it's kind of weird. But he had no windows. He pulls his shades. And I thought, he really has access to zero people.
Except himself.
Well, and that's how much he grew.
Yeah.
He didn't, unfortunately. And
Right.
in all the years I worked with him, he became less and less of a leader, less and less of a person of influence. And it was sad to watch, yet many of them still think they are. But I think the mirror part it's very self. It's, what do I look like? Presentable. Okay, I'm going to go in this big meeting and tell them how good we're doing and
how good I'm doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's how it ends up.
Yeah.
The window is really to me it's an image of a servant leader. They've got their stuff to do, right? You've got your computer and you've got your reports and you've got your analysis and you've got these emails and then you're like, Mary's out there looks like she has been crying. I'll put this away,
Yeah.
because if you don't notice, they'll go another hour or two being unproductive.
Yeah.
And
then they're like, why is nobody paying attention to me?
Well, and that's the other part. You have to, as leaders, we'll have to kind of wrestle with, are people doing it for attention?
Sure.
Good behavior is one thing. Bad behavior is another thing, but they still get attention.
Sure.
But I do think there's a lot to be said, Craig, for people that got good esteem-building relationships when they were younger. Man, just a little breath of oxygen, and they're just amazing. Those that maybe are depleted, are empty, and I think this is where one word we can chat about as leaders is you have to have equity with people. There's got to be some balance, like, you've spent time with me. I'm willing to listen to your discipline or criticism or instructions or invitation. So I think people really, they want consistency. And I think that's tough for us leaders particularly if it's a big company.
Sure.
Or multiple sites.
Well, I think the other thing that I like about the window idea too, is it's really saying to my team, you can look at me, and see I'm not perfect. I make mistakes too, and I love, years ago I heard somebody say that a real good way to remember the word intimacy is into me see, and where you're letting the other person, you don't have the guards up. Right. It's that humility to be able to stand up in front of your team and go, man, I really did not handle that one well. And I think, even the fact that you say I'm noticing even in myself that I've got areas to improve, or I notice in myself, I need somebody to come along every once in a while and say to me, hey, I notice what you're doing. Good job. I need that too. Just like you, so I think that it becomes a two-way, you were talking.
I'm Greg from the Craig and Greg Show. And if you've enjoyed this clip, please go for the full edition and subscribe so you get notified when we send another episode for you to be challenged as a leader.